We have all experienced disappointment at some time in our life. In some ways, maybe more in this last 18 months than ever before. Because COVID created all kinds of disappointments for nearly every one of us. Whether it's our school experience or spring break or graduations, summer vacations, holidays, funerals, weddings, disappointment. Some of you are like me, a Dallas Cowboy fan, so you're used to disappointment all the time. But disappointment can be a passing emotion or over a temporary loss, or it can strike powerfully when something permanently changes our lives. A major disappointment affects everything. God didn't create me or you to live in a world full of sin, full of pain and death. God created this perfect world. He intended for us to live in paradise. And so when Adam and Eve sin, God gives them choices. They disappoint, and they suffer consequences. And as a result, that means that you and I do live in this world full of suffering, pain, and sorrow. And that means there's disappointment. But someday, God's ultimate will, it will be restored. And you and I, we're going to be free of pain, sorrow, and death. But in the meantime, know this, that God has a purpose for us. So no matter what disappointment you might have experienced or will experience, you and I, we can have hope. Because disappointment can really cause us to lean hard on God, when maybe otherwise we wouldn't. Paul, he always wanted to go to Rome. He probably wants to rent the Colosseum out and hold a crusade. He finally gets to Rome, but it's in a prison cell. There he witnesses to the prison guards. He encourages fellow Christ followers to stand strong. He spends there in that jail cell in Rome. He writes much of the New Testament. I know it was hard. I can imagine how disappointed he must have been. It's been said this way, that pain is the chisel that crafts our character. So I want you to know it's important that we get a handle on our disappointment, because it is going to be a part of all of our lives. So here's the key for today. You and I will never get over disappointment in life until we learn and really believe this verse, where Paul says, we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him and have been called according to His purpose. That, of course, is Romans 8:28. And if you and I believe God's ultimately in charge of our life, it should change the way that you and I handle life and its challenges, even disappointments, maybe especially disappointment, because God's not finished with the story. Your story and mine, they're still being written. So let's continue to learn to trust God in all our circumstances.